Hello, everyone. This is Naveen Samuel. I'm with Sandy Baird today. Did I say your name correctly, Baird?
You did indeed.
All right. Sandy Baird is a dental practice management consultant, and she's been a speaker for over 35 years. She talks about practice management, and she's also has an MBA from Auburn University. So welcome to the program, Sandy.
Well, thank you so much for asking me to be here. It's an honor and a pleasure.
I know this is actually our first Blab session for my podcast series, so this is good. So yeah, up until this point, we've just been doing audio podcasts. So you're gonna be our first video podcast that we're doing.
Well, I am honored.
So, well, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about your background.
Well, like so many things that last a lifetime, it all started with love. I fell in love with a dental student when I was still in college, and we married, and we started a family, and we started his practice from the first brick up. There'd never been a practice there. And it was 1981. Interest rates were 20%.
Oh, is that the 1981? Is that the Reagan era?
Yes, it was. It was a little scary. Needless to say, we opened our family dental practice in a very small rural area in Tennessee. We had chosen it. My husband had lived in this community most of his life, and we were very excited. But we faced a number of problems. One is that beside the fact we didn't have any money, and it was 20% to get money, we had a really small employee pool. And actually, in 35 years of practice, I think we were able to hire maybe 5 people who had ever worked in a dental practice, ever. So we had to train just about everybody that came into our office. And you know what? We found out they really turned out to be better employees most of the time, better team members. But so we pretty much decided early on I was going to do all the business part, management part, and he was going to do the clinical part. So we kind of had this division of work, and we worked together for 35 years, built a great rewarding practice. And when we socialized, of course, we socialized with dentists and their families most of the time. And when you put a bunch of dentists together, you know what you get? You get a lot of talk about dentistry. And so it didn't take me any time at all to find out we were all making the same mistakes. Sure. We were all, trying to learn the same lessons. Sure. Everybody was just kind of recreating the wheel. And I thought, this is crazy. This is crazy that we are all making the absolute same mistakes. So I kind of dove in headfirst into learning everything I possibly could about practice management. And back in the 80s, there wasn't a lot of resources at that time. Okay. I can still remember vividly my first seminar with Linda Miles. And she was really the pioneer of practice management. And I remember saying, I want to do this. I want to teach other dentists how to do the business part of their practice. We don't have to keep recreating the wheel. Sure. So I went to seminars, publications, asked thousands of questions, anything I could get my hands on to make our practice more efficient, more organized, to make it easier to use and really user-friendly, because we had a family to raise, just like most of the dentists do, and you're balancing all kinds of things in your life. So I've known actually for a long, long time that this is what I wanted to do. Yeah. And my husband started talking about retiring in his late 50s. And that was when I went back to school and got my MBA. I had intended on doing that after college, but I got married instead. And but I went back and got it, and it was so fun because all my projects in school, I could center around the office, center around dentistry. I could focus completely all my studies and kind of apply it to dentistry. So it was really exciting for me to be able to see what we'd done right, what we'd done wrong, what we can improve on. So it was a great process. It was a great process.
That's great. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more to this story than what you said. A lot more events. Can you think of one specific? Now, you brought up how you sat around, with your husband's dentist friends, and all you can talk about was dentistry. Was there anything else that kind of led you to believe that this is what you want to do, is go into practice management consulting?
Oh yeah, just oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how many things. The stress that our dental friends and my husband. I mean, I went to bed with him every night. I went home with him. I heard his complaints. I heard his frustrations. I saw the other side of the coin, the team members. I saw their frustrations and their struggles, and then I saw the patients, their fear, their anxieties, and I thought, gosh, there's such a huge need here. There's such a huge need. Our patients are afraid. Our team members are frustrated, and our doctors are stressed out and getting burned out very early on.
Yeah. Like, do you feel like the frustration and the stress of the practice, do you feel like that was a trickle down effect? It started with the dentist, and then the staff and the patients were reflecting what was going on?
I think that does have something to do with it, because team members are going to be less frustrated if they have clear expectations.
Sure.
If things are written down and they know how to perform well, they know how to be a good employee in the eyes of their boss. Because a dentist is a boss, a leader, a business owner. I mean, there are so many roles that a dentist has to play. And I think with the patients, the fear, I don't think came from the dentist, and I don't think it came from the team members. I think it came from my societal feedback.
Right.
And perhaps experiences and memories and things people have said. So they weren't, you can't connect all those problems with one source, but they are all connected because they all interface in one place. And I just saw it as a huge need.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. I know sometimes it's hard to talk about the stress and the frustration. I mean, we want to keep this as a happy topic on practice management, but of course there was a starting point to where you decided to do what you're doing right now.
And there wouldn't be a need for me if there wasn't stress, lack of education. The dentists don't have a lot of practice. And if these feelings, these emotions didn't exist, there wouldn't be a need. But there is. There really is.
Yeah. Let's see here. Can you give us a specific example of how you're able to help somebody? So let's create a scenario here. You ran into a dentist, or you met a dentist at one of the seminars you're speaking at, and probably he or she probably approached you and was at the point where they were ready to quit dentistry, and you were the last speaker they saw, just wanted to give you that chance to say, how can you help us? I mean, they may not have been ready to quit dentistry, but they were definitely experiencing burnout. So can you give us a specific example of how you're able to help somebody?
Well, I have been speaking for about 5 years. I worked in the dental practice hands-on for about 35, and I did everything in a dental practice you could possibly do legally. Assistant, front desk, sterilization, janitor, potty cleaner, everything. So I saw the practice from lots of different angles, but a number of people have come up to me after a presentation and said that they really wished I was on their team. I mean, particularly team members would come up and say, gosh, I wish you could work with our team.
Sure.
And I said, so what are you experiencing? And says, well, it's like World War II in our office. There's this animosity, there's no teamwork there. And so, and I tell them, I said, a lot of that is organization setting, expectations, focusing on the right things. But one example I want to share with everybody. that is probably was the most powerful experience I had was my very first consulting client, who is a dear, dear friend, probably the sweetest person on the planet. I went in to help him do an employee handbook and get his monitors together, and uncovered a huge embezzlement.
Oh.
His income doubled the next year.
Wow.
Doubled.
Okay.
After we got rid of her. And it was a real struggle for all of us involved in this to kind of get our minds around what was going on.
Yeah.
And I have seen embezzlement a number way too often than I should. And actually, that's one of the presentations I do is on embezzlement in the dental office, because that impacted me to the point where, once again, I just dove in head first. I couldn't get enough information about it.
Sure.
And so that was a very powerful experience, and it has affected me forever. Ever. That will never change for me, I don't think. Another powerful experience was when one of the dentists that we knew in our area called me up and said, my front desk person died. She's been with me for 35 years. She was the only person at the front desk. Nothing was written down. Nobody knew what she did or how she did it. He was terrified. And I, of course, walked in the next day, and within a month we had someone hired and trained and had the whole team trained so this would never happen again. Did a lot of cross-training, got systems written down. And systems are magical because they will have results for years and years and years if you use them the right way. So that was a really rewarding experience in a way that I helped to practice. Oh gosh, I could list 10 or 15. I mean,
of course, yeah.
I get so much pleasure out of going into an office where they're running behind, their patients are leaving, the patients are angry, the front desk's hair is on fire because everybody's sitting in the waiting room. Turn that scheduling system around, organize it, make it user-friendly, make it really efficient, make it so the doctor doesn't run behind.
Right.
Make it so the patients have an amazing experience.
Yeah.
So that's really rewarding for me too, as well as seeing somebody's production increase or getting rid of an embezzler or just getting team members to work together again. There's so much I could say about that.
That's great. It sounds like you have a very strong passion for what you're doing here. And it seems like the story you talked about, sitting around with the dentists and your husband's friends and, going through the stress and the struggles that they went through. I mean, you've experienced it yourself. You've seen it firsthand, and for you to help people out and bring them out of that hole that they're in, that must be very rewarding.
It is, and dentistry is such an amazing a career. Yeah. I think it's a very important part of healthcare, and for these dentists to be burning out in 10 and 15 years, I think that is probably one of the number one threats to dentistry is burnout.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you're a dentist?
I am a dentist.
Here.
Well, I've experienced burnout in other situations too. I know there was a church that I belonged to that I took a leadership position in the church board, and we got involved in the church and really saw the inside politics of what happens. And as much as you have this passion to help out your church community, not everyone can see eye to eye, and then you do experience the stress and burnout from that position, and that's just with your community. With the dental practice, there is a dental community. There's your patients become your family too. So when somebody in your patient family experiences a loss, lost their husband or lost their spouse, you feel it too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So burnout can happen. Unfortunately, burnout's just one of those given things, but it's all about like how to deal with burnout. Like how can a dentist as a leader lead their team. So how do you help your practices with leadership?
Oh gosh, that's a huge topic of mine. I think one way dentists can really manage their burnout is not to try to do everything. They can't be good at everything. And I think it's somewhat inherent in that crafts, that artists they are, where they work with their hands. You're a dentist, and they kind of are do-it-yourselfer. They do it. They can fix it. And I think too many dentists try to do too much. They end up, for the longest time, dentists were number 1 in the suicide list for years and years. And they were number 2 in divorce.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, that type of attitude can kill you, literally. And I think by embracing the fact that I don't have to do this by myself, I can get a partner in here to help me do the business part of it, the team part of it, organize my finances, gets my schedule so it's not killing me or killing my patient practice. So, yeah, it's true, though. I've seen it happen over, because we've been in the dental field almost 40 years now. I've just seen it happen over and over and over. And it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be like
that. Good. Is there a book or a product that you have on right now, or some more information that you've written? Okay.
My products are my services.
Okay.
My speaking, my blogging, my writing.
Okay, so you do have a blog then.
Okay. I do. All right. It's on my website.
Okay.
And so
I'll share that information on the Facebook group. And also, how do people get in touch with you?
The best thing to do really is to go to my website. Go to bairdconcepts.com. My phone number's there. My email's there. I would love to hear from you. And if you reference this video, I'll knock off 15% of whatever program we design.
Okay.
Because every one of my programs are personally designed. It depends.
Can you give us a little glimpse of your programs, like as far as what do you have as far as programs are concerned?
It really depends on what the dentist needs.
Okay.
If they want a complete practice evaluation, then I recommend that type of program. If they want help with their human resources, hiring, firing, team development, scheduling, I mean, it kind of depends on I want my dentist to tell me what they need, and if they're not sure, then let's do an evaluation. Let's find it, because a lot of times my dentists they're on top of their needs, but sometimes it's not the top problem. So many times I get in there and do an evaluation, and there's some underlying currents that are just bucking, just killing everything that the dentist he or she is trying to do.
Yeah.
So it just kind of depends on the need of the practice.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Dan has been really kind enough to be on the program here and listen to our conversation. So I want to invite him in to ask Sandy a question. So Dan, go ahead and you can feel free to. Yeah, okay, sorry. Thank you for doing that.
Oh, hi, Dan. I see you coming on now.
Hi.
All right, Dan. So. You said you're a veterinarian?
No, I'm a veteran.
Oh, veteran. Okay, veteran.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I read part of your description and it said VETE, and then I just assumed it was a veterinarian. Okay. Well, do you have a question for Sandy here?
No, not really. I had seen that the lab was scheduled. I'm not a dentist. What I own is a collection agency.
Oh, okay.
And so I have a lot of dentists that are clients.
Okay. I bet you do.
And I went to Sandy's website and was looking around there, and I don't see where you address that issue, Sandy. Do you make sure that you address it?
I typically call it the AR system, the accounts receivables system. And so when I designed the system, I am the first one to tell my dental practices, and I've been down this road. I know that we are not collection agencies in the dental practice. There are certain steps that we can go through, and I outline that, and then at that point, it's time to hand it over to the professionals, the people who know the law, who know how collections are supposed to be done, who can report it to the credit bureaus. And because after a certain point, dental practices just aren't equipped to collect money. And believe me, I tried. I remember in small claims court going up there 8 months pregnant with twins trying to do a collect on an outstanding account. And the judge, of course, ruled in our favor. Did we ever see a penny of it? No, because the local sheriff's office never serves the papers. You know, it just kind of, the process dies at that point. So that was when I learned that you all, collection agents, are very, very important to us.
Sure.
And what I try to do is teach my clients what the steps are that are necessary that they do inside the practice to avoid having the accounts get to me in the first place.
Absolutely. That's what I do. That's exactly what I do in my AR system too, accounts receivable system. I do that too. So well, I think we can't hit that subject from enough angles in order to make it stick, because in dental practices, we're very fortunate. I mean, of your net production, we should be collecting about 98%. Right?
Right.
That's correct.
About 98% of our net production after adjustments. And that is a lot higher than a number of industries.
Sure.
So, but we still have that need. We still have that 2% that can drive us absolutely out of our minds.
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to, just kind of see what you were about, Sandy, and when I send out a newsletter out to my clients, maybe I can put a plug in there for you.
That's very thoughtful of you. Thank you very much, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, thanks for you.
So thank you.
Yeah. So if you have any more questions, if not, we'll close out the session here, Dan.
Sounds good. I'm done.
Thank you. So.
Thank you, Dr. Sam.
Yeah,
that was I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So what we'll do right now is we'll go ahead and close out the blab session, but stay on the line. Don't hang up yet. We'll just spend a couple of minutes and go over the program here. So thank you for everybody who joined us today, and we'll see you on the Facebook group. And have a good day.